glad you've got a little a
Yes,
little weekend coming up to relax and recharge.
exactly. Thank you so much for that. That means a lot to me.
Absolutely. It's kind of what I do.
Yes, thank you so much for saying you'd be on the show today, for the love of health. And yeah, this is a web show where we get to talk about business and just like operations, things that we've been kind of branching out into. And of
Yeah.
course, it's relevant based on what's going on now in our businesses, right? Because a year from now, 2 years from now, it's going to be new things.
Oh my
So
God.
a nice conversation
Yeah.
to hold on to what we're doing now and just to talk about what's exciting, what's challenging, and all of that.
Awesome. Can't wait.
So thanks for being on the show. And Emily Shaules, you are based remind me again of where you're based now. You said you were in
I'm
Ashland.
in Encinitas, California, which is just north of San Diego.
Okay, beautiful. San Diego, like the pictures look so pretty, the beaches and everything. It really looks
It's
grass.
heaven. I am very, very happy about where I live.
And you've branched out into a few different things. A Canary Club have a membership program for women specifically. Is that correct?
Actually, I've got an online course. I shifted away. This is actually news. So I shifted away from the group coaching because I was asked to become the executive director for a new wellness retreat center that's opening here. And I realized, like, oh my God, I need to practice what I preach and not try and do everything and please everyone. And so what I did was I took my coaching content and I created an online course that we just launched this week. So I'm so excited because I
Yay.
wanted people to still be able to benefit from the information, and I'm so passionate about it. But I also needed to now shift my focus a little bit. So yeah, lots of
Congratulations.
new things coming.
So
Thank you.
exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that on your social media that you were talking about retreats. And so I definitely wanted to bring that up too, but I didn't realize that it was like this really big,
Yeah.
new
Yeah, and it came out of the blue. I literally I'd been doing the Canary Club for months and really, practicing what I preach. I was in this place of I'm leading these women through this information and these practices, and I can't not do them myself because that would mean I was totally out of integrity. And so I was doing them every day consistently, and then suddenly I just got this call out of nowhere, out of the blue, right? And it was this woman who I hadn't spoken to in 2 years. um she had no reason to believe that I had any interest or experience in this area, but she said I was the first person who popped into her head when she thought of who she wanted to run
I
her
love
retreat
that.
center. So I was
I
like,
love that. I mean, the power of connections, right? Like this was a contact from 2 years ago,
yes,
and still like sometimes in the space we don't think the people who are really watching us are people we don't necessarily think are watching us,
right,
paying attention to our changes, to our evolution. And so that's why like being out there and talking and being consistent is so important.
absolutely,
You just never know ideal partners are just waiting and creating the things with us in mind. So
exactly.
that's just an obvious example of that, of how brilliant you are and how like, you by consistently being out there. But I think also, I'm going through something very similar. I have like a signature process and I have been doing it as a group program. And now I'm like, okay, we're reaching the end of the term. It was an annual program. We tested it this one way, but now the content's created and I can just shape shift it into some other form. Like it doesn't go
Exactly.
anywhere. It just becomes like this new like thing. And so
Exactly.
yeah,
Because it's something, it still has value, but it's not, none of us are stagnant, especially in business. If we're running our own businesses and we become stagnant, we're just kind of doing the same old thing because we know it works. It's boring, and we as entrepreneurs are going to lose interest really quickly. And so when I thought, okay, I've always wanted to do an online course, let me just see if I could do this. I already have all the content. Like basically I just have to record it instead of doing it live. um, and so there was definitely a learning curve of like learning how to put together an online course and doing all of that, but it was fun. And now I know that that content can live on and help people, you know for a really long time in all of the world. And I don't have to be babysitting it all the time. It can be more evergreen. It can be more passive on my end, but it can still help others because it's so valuable. So yeah, I
Yeah, I think
completely understand what you're talking about.
I think the word for that is like attachment, right? Like we get attached to how we think certain things are supposed to play out, but
Absolutely.
like what you did was you made like room for this other thing that was like calling your spirit and your expertise and being like, okay, I can't do these things equally. So
No.
which one? So can you go into that decision making a little bit?
Absolutely. I'm so happy you asked. So I am a big believer in law of attraction, in conscious creation, in having a goal and setting an intention, but then letting it go, letting go of that attachment, because I know from decades of experience that my little puny mind and imagination is nothing compared to the God, the universe, all that is, source, whatever you want to call it. I believe there is a larger force at play, and I know, and I believe that it loves me and wants the best for me and wants what I want for myself. And so if you would have said 6 months ago, hey, Emily, like, would you ever want to run a retreat center? It would have been so out of left field. It would have been like, wow, I thought about that a decade ago, like 15 years ago, when I first got into the wellness industry. I thought, wow, wouldn't it be cool to like have a place that was kind of mine, and I could go anytime, and we could do yoga and all of the things, right? And throughout my experience in the wellness industry, I can't even tell you how many times people have come to me and said, this is what we're doing. We're starting a wellness retreat, blah, blah, blah. And, nothing ever really came of it. It was all kind of, no offense, but like hippies with a dream. Like they never like got the ball actually rolling. It was just, an intellectual exercise.
Yeah.
And so I had been doing the coaching, and I had written down on this little piece of paper, I've got a little creation box on my altar, and I basically just wrote down, I want to make this much money a year at least. I want to be working with people who I love, who love me, who recognize my gifts, and who we can have fun together. I want to be putting something good into the world. And that's kind of all, and I want it to be able to support my health. I don't want to work 80 hours a week. I'm not doing, I really want to be able to take care of myself. And I rolled it up and I put it in the box. And I swear to God, the next morning, this woman called. I'm not even joking. This woman called. I was on the phone with my best friend, and this woman called, and her name popped up. And so she was in my contacts, but I didn't recognize the name, because I hadn't spoken to her for 2 years. So it's just like, okay, I didn't answer the phone. I was like, okay, I'll call her back. And then suddenly she and I met when I'd first moved to San Diego, and I was launching an energy bar company. And so I didn't know anyone, and I was looking for investors. And so I took a job waitressing, because I thought, wow, there was this really cool organic restaurant. And I thought, well, I can meet people, and I can possibly find investors, because the smoothies were like $15. So I'm like, okay, people who come here might have some extra cash.
That's a really good point you bring up, that like sometimes like opportunities come up that even if and I've heard other coaches talk about that before, like if it means something, just have a job, get involved. If you know that it's in a place and a culture that resonates with your values and can put you in front of the right people, then go for it. Like, even if it's like a humble, like service-based
Absolutely. I mean, I now, at the time when I started working there, I think I was 43 or 44. I mean, I was working, my fellow waitresses were like in their early 20s. And I'm, and here I am, I'm literally like, an attorney. I'm a CEO of a company, and I'm like, am I really going to wait tables? And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I am, because I'm open. And that was what came. Like, I literally got the job without interviewing, without even applying. Like, a connection just told the owner of the restaurant, and she texted me, and it was just so easy. And that's where I flow now. Cool. Like, it's not me creating, it's me following like water, like a river. Like, where is this flowing? And so she she, over the years that I waited on her, learned about me, learned about my background, really actually truly got to know me. And
Right.
so I put her number, we exchanged numbers, which I didn't exchange numbers with any other customer in a restaurant, so it's like, looking back, I could just see like how every little piece came. And so she literally just called me and said, I bought 166 acres. We're starting renovations. I want you to run it for me because I have a full-time job and I won't be able to do it. And it was just
Yeah.
this feeling that, and for how you said, like, how did I make my decision? When she called me, literally every hair on my arm stood up. And that is what I trust. And I haven't always trusted. I was raised and lived for a very long time in the intellectual world, like the left side of my brain. That's what I trusted.
Yeah,
And the
it
more
sounds
and more I go through my healing journey, the more and more I'm really trying to open up myself to that larger part of me, that intuition, that wisdom that has the bird's eye view, has the 30,000-foot view that I can't see from down here on the ground.
yeah,
And
yeah.
every time I follow, the arm tingling or something else, something good happens. And every time I don't, I look back and I think, oh yeah, you should have listened to that. So I think it's a matter of balance, especially in business.
Like it happened regardless, and it was like soul recognition. You were saying you were ready for something, she wasn't, but now she is saying she's ready. So it was like a call of the spirit, and like it recognized,
Exactly.
and now it's time. Like the
Yes.
timing worked out, and I'm sure logistically, because you did also have programming running, that she was still able to keep track of what was going on, right? Like maybe a newsletter, maybe media.
Yeah, I actually should ask her that. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think some people, I think you just like that, like you said, the soul recognition. I think when some people come into your life, you get like a little extra buzz or something. And I think those messages are really important to listen to, because that is someone trying to kind of guide us. And you never know when or how, but I really think when we follow those nudges, something good usually comes of it. And if anything, it's like building a muscle, like you have to start following the nudges in order to strengthen that part of you, that intuition. Because
Yeah,
if you're not used to using it, like it's like not going to the gym for, 6 years. And then suddenly you go and you try and do the workout you did 6 years ago. Like, nah, that ain't gonna work. Like you gotta build it up. And
I
so
absolutely agree with that. Like we just know there's just certain people that like we have these particular connections with. And I think logistically too, like when we're like creating things, sometimes some people come through more clear than others. And so it's like refining these processes so that we can try to address and securely help as many people as possible.
yes,
And it's a really interesting like thing. And you're right, like you have to practice. And it sounds like you were so flexible in it, and like that feeds back to that first thing we're talking about attachment. I mean, how can we like be flexible if we're so firmly attached to what we think is possible? We have to kind of have a flexibility about it when we're navigating.
absolutely. I think, for me, that's where the word faith comes in, and trust is me trusting that this body, this head, this brain is the smaller part of me, that the larger part of me is in non-physical, is connected to source energy or God or whatever you want to call it. And like I said, has that bird's eye view and wants what is best for me. So I really think that there are two types of people in the world. Literally those who believe that the world is a friendly place, who wants what they want and loves them and cares for them and wants the best for them. And then there are people who who think that the world is a dangerous place that you need to be afraid of and you need to defend yourself against. And I've been both. And I'm not trying to say that one is better than the other. They're just a different way of looking at things. And so I feel like when you look within and you find yourself in a state of trying to control everything, that is literally you saying, I have to control everything because I do not trust that if I let go of control, that good things will come to me. I think that bad things will come to me. And
Yeah.
so I need to control and manipulate and have all the puzzle pieces, which one is not true, and it's two, exhausting. And so the women that I work with invisible illness, like their nervous systems and their bodies are exhausted from trying to be the puppet master and control absolutely everything in their lives.
Yeah,
And
because you're
it is
resisting against what you actually are. Yeah.
exactly. And it can be so scary to let go. But once you do, and you get used to it, and then you start kind of seeing the things that are coming, it's like, oh, wow, I could, like I said, I could have never thought of this.
Mhm.
This new position as something that was coming to me. It would have never even like entered my consciousness. But I had asked for it previously, and now suddenly all of the pieces were in place, like you said, and it was the time was right. And so and my vibe was high because I had been consistently doing my spiritual practices and my work, that then suddenly it was a match and it flowed in
Well,
without me lifting a finger.
I think it's so confidence boosting hearing the story, because people, when you call, there's going to be a response. Like, it's going to happen. It might take a couple years. It might take you having done all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
But if you're putting out that call and it's straight from your spirit and from what you want, it's going to inevitably come back, and it's going to be really profound. And you just don't know exactly how the form is going to take, but it's going to be really bountiful and amazing. So
and also I think that the biggest thing for me in learning to shift from looking at the world one way to the other was that, yes, if I let go of all of this stuff, I will get what I want.
Mhm.
But the most important thing is that I will feel better on the journey between where I am now and getting what I want. Because again, if we're letting go, or we're meditating, or we're doing any kind of practices in order to get the thing that we want, that in of itself is a form of control and kind of micromanaging the universe. It's like, okay, well, I'll be happy if I can get what I want. And it's like the happiness, that pithy phrase that everyone throws around of like the joys and the journey, like if you can actually really buy into that, which literally it took me probably a decade to do, if I'm being honest with myself. Like, I would say it all the time, but like looking back, I'm like, I didn't really trust that.
yeah,
If you really believe that and you really live your life of like, whatever I'm doing today, whether it's waiting tables, whether it's babysitting, whether it's, running a corporate meeting, whatever I'm doing today, I'm going to trust that that is my sacred work in front of me. I am going to do it to the best of my ability, with love in my heart and with the intention of having joy, a joyful experience. And now suddenly you're hopping from joyful experience to joyful experience. And that's what creates a joyful life. It's not like the checking off the goals. It's the moment to moment. Am I actually enjoying my life?
Right. Like, just a lot of the things that, like, I need the car, I need the career, I need these things to happen before I go for what I really
Exactly.
want. It's like not exactly, it's a very quick road to burnout. Well, let's go a little more earth now. Let's talk about practicality for
Absolutely.
our time. I mean, because you just got this big job, and I'm sure you're just like, there's ideas that are coming to fruition. And of course, don't give us all the ones. We're going to have to come out to the retreat center.
Of course.
Well, how involved are you going to be, and what kinds of things are going to be potentially happening in this space?
Well, we're actually in the midst of deciding that right now. Like, our vision right now is that we are going to it's going to be a wellness retreat center. So it's going to be a place where not only current retreat leaders can come and just host their retreats. So like yoga teachers or meditation guides, or, anyone who is really just honestly putting good into the world. That's literally like our kind of motto is ordinary people changing the world. So it's literally that feeling of you don't have to go out and fix everything, but like, what's one little thing that you can do that would bring you joy to do, that you do like doing and that you're good at? Go do that. And even if it's coming to a week-long retreat and decompressing, so that when you go back into your own life, you're happier and healthier and kinder because your nervous system has calmed down a bit. And then we're also going to be hosting our own like custom retreats. So we're going to have, we have some cookbook retreats set up where we're basically going to take a healthy cookbook, and we've got tons because we love food, we love healthy food, and we're not really subscribing to any one particular diet. But like, why don't you come out to a beautiful place in California, in Southern California, and for a weekend just learn how to make some simple, healthy, you know, meals, so that when you go home, you can integrate that into the rest of your life and keep yourself satiated in a healthier way while also relaxing and decompressing. So we're also going to have like corporate retreats and things like that. So, I mean, anyone who's interested, it's thejulianranch.com. You can always go there, but I'm just so excited because I see the two weaving together. I see the retreat center and my coaching practice weaving together, that I can now host retreats, women in person, like an in-person version of the Canary Club. Because for women with invisible illness, one of the biggest things is isolation. It's feeling that they're alone, that no one truly understands them, even if they have loving spouses or families or coworkers or friends. If you yourself are not and have never dealt with chronic pain, whether it's physical or mental, it's almost impossible for you to truly put yourself in another person's shoes. Like, it's an experience that you can't understand. And so the feedback I got from the Canary Club and from coaching was, oh my God, just to be in a space with other women who get me, who, like, I don't have to explain this, and this to someone. They just understand it, is so valuable. And so to be able to have a space now to do that in person, you know, after the last couple of years of like no one getting to touch or hug or any of the things, like physical touch is my number one love language. So I'm like, everywhere I'm like, hug me, hug me, like, please, just like, I feel like I'm touch deprived. So having a space where we can really just come together and be and slow down and, you know, not be always on our phones or watching or on our computers or watching this or watching that. It's so beneficial to every other aspect of our lives. Yeah, because honestly, like 2 days a week, like a weekend, not enough to rest if you're exhausted and if you're tired. And even most people, like the 2 days that they have on the weekend, well, one of those days is like laundry and groceries and cleaning and like all of those things. And so like maybe one day a week you have to rest and have fun. That's not enough. So my goal is to get people to really on a regular basis, like reclaim that restful part of themselves, because that's beneficial to your creativity, to your, you know, to all the things.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I have a couple practitioners in California in our network, in our 4 Love of Health network, who might be really great fits to come and travel, who are on the same wavelength. And, you know, yes, rest is like super important. And it's so great that you are now structuring some type of business model around that concept, so that more people have access to the fundamental things that will make them increase their parasympathetic system response, have better vagal tone, all the things that we know as practitioners are really going to heal and nourish bodies. So.
And also I really kind of took my own medicine when I was offered this job. I said, okay, well, wow, this sounds really interesting, but here are my parameters. Like, I'm not working more than 20 hours a week doing this. I have other things that I'm doing. I need to take care of my health. Here are the 6 weeks a year of vacation that I would like. Here is like, and I literally, because it just came to me. It wasn't something I was like looking and searching for. It was this feeling of, okay, I can just truly be myself and be upfront with them and ask them for what I need, instead of saying, yes, 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 I can do this, this. And then a month later, I am burnt out and fried and needing, to quit or not doing my job well.
Yeah, no, mad respect for that. I mean, discernment is huge. And unfortunately, a lot of health providers they never do that. Like, it's just,
No,
they never do.
but you
And
can, like, if you really, going back to that, which kind of world do you live in? If you really believe that we live in a world that cares for us and wants for us what we want,
yeah,
we can keep our standards up here.
yeah.
I literally manifested out of thin air this amazing position that pays me, that respects my health, respects my time. Like, the people are so wonderful and supportive. I mean, I've never had that. And it was because I was truly working on the belief factor of that is possible for me. That is something that is out there. And I don't need every job to be like that. I just need the one that comes to me. I just need one. It's kind of like, I don't need every man out there to be someone I fall in love with. I just need one, like
It sounds
and
like
one I can manifest.
it sounds like it happened for you too, because you advocated for yourself. Like, you spoke up for what you needed. You said it, and you were open, and you, like you said, you were flexible with how you you spoke to people in this like really
Yes.
significant way. I think a lot of people have like trust issues, and part of that is the allowance to believe in trusting yourself to be able to get through that, trusting the universe for allowing the stuff that you need, and that abundance mindset of stepping into and not being scarcity. I mean,
I cannot agree with you more. I think you said something so amazing right there of like trusting yourself. One of the biggest parts of my coaching practice and the online course is teaching boundaries and clear communication, because I feel like that, especially as women, we're not taught at all. And so it is like, who can I take care of? Who can I please? I have to make everyone around me happy, and then I can relax. And it's the exact
constant compromise.
it is the exact opposite. And so when you start to really get firm and like strong in, this is what I need, I don't have to justify it, I don't have to explain it, I just say it because I know that's what I need.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm going to hold out for. The
Yeah.
things that start coming to you are of a higher caliber, because you have now put it out there, to God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, like that. This is the standard. So things better come to me that meet this standard, instead of, oh, I'm going to take what I can get, and then things of this standard come to you. And
Yeah.
so when you can really learn how to lovingly but honestly communicate your boundaries and stand firm in them and enforce them, that builds trust in yourself. That now you feel every part of you, like the inner child of you, every part of you who maybe hasn't felt very protected in the past, now is like, oh, she's got my back.
Mhm.
And that is what leads our nervous system to relax, trusting in ourselves to take care of us and to speak up for us, and to really not settle for less than what we deserve.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I really appreciate you being on the web show today, Emily. And good luck, and keep in touch with us about all your new adventures and things
Absolutely.
that as they come to
Thank you so
fruition.
much.